If you were in a German city in 1943, you might have experienced this. 1 million leaflets falling from the sky with this image on them. It's not an image made by a citizen of an allied country, nor is it even made in 1943. It was made 10 years before, even before World War II, and it was made by a German artist. Erwin Blumenfeld was born in Berlin in 1897, and he was Jewish. You might imagine why that's important information to have. Between the two world wars, he became a professional photographer, but he didn't specialize in political content, as you may assume from how this video started, but he started in fashion. He was, and is still considered, one of the greatest fashion photographers of the 20th century. His pictures have been on the cover of Vogue magazine or Harper's Bazaar for years. And that's mostly his legacy now. There's a 1-hour documentary available on YouTube titled "The Man Who Shot Beautiful Women." This is what he's known for. However, if you know this channel, you also know that we're not going to be looking at Blumenfeld for his work as a fashion photographer. I want to look at his brief yet very poignant anti-fascist work. Blumenfeld evolved in Weimar, Germany, more particularly in Berlin, where the art scene was incredibly rich and bubbling. He was at a time and place that put him in the heart of Dadaism. One of his good friends and influence was George Grosz. I even found a postcard Grosz sent to Blumenfeld in 1931, which embodies the playfulness and the irreverence of the Dadaist movement. Dadaism was extremely political. Here's a work from the series God With Us by George Grosz titled "Blood is the Best Sauce," where you can read in German, "Communists fall and shares rise." I'll eventually make a video on this series, so subscribe if you're interested. In 1920, Blumenfeld made this collage titled "Charlie." He called himself President Dada Chaplinist for his fascination for Charlie Chaplin, who is represented here on a cross, surrounded by various religious icons, including a drawing that literally says religion, a Taoist symbol, the Star of David, of course, the flag of the German Empire, and, more surprisingly, a left-facing swastika. Because of the context of religion in this artwork, I doubt that this would be a reference to the Nazis, who adopted the swastika the exact same year in 1920, but who still represented a marginal political organization. It would only be later, in the 1930s, that Blumenfeld made some overtly denunciative artworks. It was through these pictures, the ones of Hitler crying tears of blood, that I first encountered Blumenfeld in an art history book. Otherwise, he's not that popular online for his anti-fascist art, so it makes him a bit inaccessible, especially pixel-wise. It's really hard to find those Hitler crying blood pictures online that have more than 2 pixels. There's also the picture Minotaur, or the Dictator, which he included in his book, My 100 Best Photos. This picture isn't the strongest to me, but there is one element that struck me, and it's the use of a bull's head as a way to represent a dictator. Blumenfeld took this picture while he worked in Paris. The reason why it struck me is because I made a video on Picasso during the Nazi occupation in Paris, and in that video, I said he didn't seem to do much anti-fascist art, especially knowing he created Guernica. But he did paint decapitated bullheads, and if the symbolism is the same as the one in Blumenfeld's picture, which he also made in Paris, then these bullheads could be anti-fascist symbols. But Picasso's relationship to bulls, either as a symbol for Spain or for himself, can be complicated. Finally, we can look at the picture we started the video with, Graunfres, or Hitler Face of Terror. It's a double exposure, meaning it's a blend of 2 pictures, one of a skull and another of Adolf Hitler. The iconic mustache was added in black ink and a swastika glued to his forehead. This picture might be Blumenfeld's most important artwork, not only because it was used as anti-Nazi propaganda by the Allies during World War II, but maybe more importantly, because it influenced his entire career. But more than to anyone else, I owe a debt of gratitude to Schicklgruber, the Führer. Without him, I would have slumped down into the Dutch swamps, and without him, I would never have had the courage to become a photographer. He forced me out of my ivory tower, we called it our island of solitude, and into real life. As a gesture of thanks, on the night when he seized power, I did a photo montage superimposing his ghastly features onto a skull and ran with it through the night, drunk, for nearly 16 miles from Amsterdam to Aardenhout. In 1942, 1 million copies were dropped over Germany as American aerial propaganda leaflets. Hi, Hitler. I'm probably going to censor myself for that last sentence. It's one thing to get demonetized, but getting a community strike or community guideline strike or whatever is another thing. I had one already. I don't want a second one. From what I saw, Erwin Blumenfeld didn't really go back to his political beginnings. He moved to America and became a super famous, highly paid photographer, perhaps becoming an example of how comfort and privilege can make you apolitical. Or maybe he always was apolitical, as despite being a Dadaist and being surrounded by communists and anarchists, he never really seemed to take any position. Perhaps his stance against Hitler was motivated more by a sense of self-preservation than by a duty to defend justice and freedom. How does that affect the way you see his anti-fascist art? Do the motivations matter when making anti-fascist art? What's more poignant, doing it because it puts your life at risk, or because you believe it's the right thing to do? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to look at anti-fascist propaganda from the same period by someone who was more politically active, much more politically active, I recommend the video I made on John Hartfield. It's a pretty good video. And I'm serious, tell me what you think in the comments. Again, I read all of them. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. This is outro time. Outro time, outro time. This is not the video on fascism, I promised, by the way. Just making sure. Thank you so much for watching. I have to say thank you, at least, at the beginning of these outros. Thank you so much for watching. Your comments about my hair, by the way, hilarious. There was one about Der Golem, which was amazing. I don't know if I'll put the picture of Der Golem on screen right now. I don't know exactly what that figure represents. I think it's from Jewish mythology. Perfect. Perfect. I feel really cool knowing I look like Der Golem. Also, a lot of you followed my personal account on Instagram to look at my art. Thank you so much. It's very appreciated. I haven't posted in a while though. I've been pretty busy, as you can imagine. I'm working on a video for the CBC again, so if you want to check out that, check out CBC Arts on YouTube. I don't know when the next video is going to come out, but I've been working on it for sure. And I'll actually work on the George Gross video, because I found his series on, I don't remember, God something. And it's a great series, and I would like to make a video on it. So that's probably going to be the next video, and then it'll be the video on fascism. We'll see. Also, follow me on Letterboxd. I watched like 3 movies before yesterday and left them all like a review, so maybe go check that out. Enough plugs. Oh, actually, one final plug, and the most important one, because it's the one that keeps food on my table. It's Patreon. I want to thank all my patrons for supporting the channel, and especially Roman Brandel, of course, and X-Towns. Those are the 2 top supporting patrons. But there's also all the patrons who are scrolling here, I think, to my left, who are all very, very helpful. It's like the minimum donation tier or whatever is $1 per month. So if you want to support me for $1 per month, it would be greatly appreciated, and your name is going to be in the scrolling text to my left or to your right. So thank you so much to all the patrons. I've been talking enough. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's stay anti-fascist. I hope you're anti-fascist. If you're not, hopefully this video made you anti-fascist. And if it didn't, well, stay updated for my video on fascism. Maybe that will de-radicalize you. All right, enough. Have a great day. Have a great week. See you in 2 weeks, probably. Hopefully I stay on schedule. All right, goodbye. Goodbye.